We got some interesting news coming out of the Sociemic Institute this week, and they proclaim that Donald Trump has an 87% chance to win the presidential election. And with that being said, we're going to cover 3 sectors and a few stocks that are going to win big, massively, if Trump is to be reelected come November. And my name's Nick, and welcome to Ways to Wealth. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time here, we highlight key events that happened in the market over the past week. And I'd like to ask you a huge favor. If you learned something new, if you get some value out of this video, smash the like button. It helps me out and I would appreciate that. And if you enjoy the content, you want to come back week after week, hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. We do this every single week. So the way the Institute broke down the numbers is they looked at the previous 16 years a president was running for re-election, and they looked at the performance of the stock market. So if the stock market was up in the 3 previous years running up to the election over 20%, then that president had a 87% chance to win. That is 14 out of the 16 times. So let's pretend for this video that the polls are wrong, and let's take this for fact, and let's take a look at 3 sectors that are bound to win. One sector that is yet to recover from the crash in March is the financial sector. And when we take a look at it, we could even further deep dive into the banking sector. But the macro at play here is the fact that businesses are going to go to the banks for loans. These loans will then be used to employ more people. The people will then go to the banks for their own loans or for mortgages. So essentially the banks will start making more money if you think that we are going to push through and get out of this pandemic, which seems like a no-brainer. There's also a dividend play with these banks. So you're essentially getting paid to wait while you're waiting for these banks to grow. So it seems like a good place to start. It has been said that bank stocks perform significantly well under a Republican administration. And this is because the lack of regulation that the agenda typically has. But with that being said, I think a stock that can perform really well under a Trump win is Bank of America, ticker symbol BAC. And this company is still off about 30% from the highs earlier this year. And the analysts have a price target currently at around $28.80. This gives about a 15 to 16% upside from this point. Meanwhile, you're getting nearly a 3% dividend, so you're getting paid to wait. Another company down 27% from the highs is JP Morgan, ticker symbol JPM. And this company shocked investors in their last earnings report, having an earnings beat by 69 cents a share, which is uncommon obviously during this time. And they attributed this win to their investment banking division, who saw revenue soar 91%. So obviously a lot of people trading in the market, and they were getting the commission and etc. But the average price target from investors is around $116 to $117 a share. And this signals about a 12% upside from its current price on Friday. And meanwhile, you're also getting a 3.47% dividend yield. So you are getting paid to wait on this one as well. It was only a year ago that trade talks and tariffs were stealing headlines everywhere in Trump's pledge to make America great again. It's clear more now than ever that the relationship between the US and China is on a rocky road. Ray Dalio attributes this to the changing world order, where he's saying it's part of life cycle that we're having a change in global supremacy. US is relinquishing and China is now going to take over to be the world power. And others are stating that the Cold War between the two countries has already begun. With the US on the cusp of losing that global supremacy, it seems like a no-brainer that we look at defense stocks as being the next sector that should perform well under a Trump re-election. And if you want to look at a more specific name, I would take a look at Lockheed Martin, ticker symbol LMT. And with all the security risks that are going on, if we take that out of the equation just for a moment and we look at the base defense stocks, well, they perform relatively well under a Republican administration. So we have that portion going for it. And Lockheed is up around 58% in the last 4 years since the election day with Trump in office. So let's say around 16% year over year. In 2019, the company made about $58 billion, 40 of which came from the US government. This attributes 70% of their business to be directly correlated to the government and obviously paid for by the citizens of America. They reported recently and they had an earnings beat, and this is amid the pandemic. Analysts were estimating that the earnings per share would come in around $6.09, when in reality it came in at $6.25. And if you look at it, it's around a 7.5% increase year over year. Not only will this company benefit if the political turmoil continues, but this company is set to take a huge market share of the space industry. Now, we saw Trump create the Space Force in his tenure, and he's also talked about privatizing the space industry. So Lockheed Martin might have a first to market advantage, meaning that they have all the relationships and they have the technology and so forth. So it will give them a good competitive advantage if that is to happen. And if we take that all for granted, let's not forget about the dividend. They pay a 2.7% dividend yield year over year, which is great in my opinion. The third sector set to benefit the most under a Trump win is actually one that we covered last week in Biden's video, where we covered 3 sectors and a few stocks that would perform really well under a Biden win. And this is because infrastructure is so important to the economic recovery of America that it seems almost like a no-brainer. Now, we've yet to see the Trump administration bring an infrastructure bill to the Oval Office, but we could definitely see this being a part of his playbook if he gets elected for the second term. So if you want to check out an in-depth review of a few different ways to play the infrastructure side, take a look at my video from last week where I break down a few different ways to play, whether it's in the individual name or an ETF or even other in the material side. So make sure to go check that out. I'll throw a link up here and down in the description. So we've covered all the 3 sectors I think are set to benefit the most from a Trump re-election. You had the financials, you had the defense stocks, and you had the infrastructure plays, but I would definitely suggest that you do your own research. And that is all for this week in the market recap. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're still with me and you enjoyed it, you got some value, hit the like button. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. We do this every single week. I hope you all have a great week in the markets. Happy trading.